The sun shimmered over the bustling streets of downtown Los Angeles, where luxury cars hummed and polished glass windows reflected a world of wealth and elegance. Among the rows of high-end boutiques and fragrance stores stood Maison d'Or, one of the city's most exclusive luxury brands, the kind of place where a scarf could cost more than a month's rent, and where appearances often decided who belonged. That morning, Maya Brooks stood across the street, adjusting her tote bag and taking a deep breath. She wasn't flashy, but there was an undeniable grace in the way she carried herself, a soft confidence that didn't need to be loud. She wore a simple cream blouse tucked into neatly pressed trousers, her natural curls tied back, her smile warm and quiet. She had been working tirelessly for months, and today was special. Her mother's birthday was coming up, the woman who had worked 2 jobs to raise her, who had always said, "You don't need to shout to be seen. Maya, let your light do the talking." So, Maya decided she'd buy her mother something beautiful, not to show off, but to show gratitude. She had her eyes set on a silk scarf from Maison d'Or, one her mom had admired in a magazine years ago. As she approached the store, she could feel the cool blast of air conditioning escape through the automatic doors. But before she could step inside, a tall woman with a pinched face and a headset, the store manager, stepped forward, blocking her way. "Excuse me, ma'am," the woman said sharply, glancing at Maya's tote bag and modest outfit. "Can I help you?" "Yes," Maya said with a polite smile. "I'm looking for a scarf from your new collection. I'm sorry," the manager interrupted, crossing her arms. "This store is for clients who make appointments in advance. We don't allow people to browse casually. Everything here is quite exclusive." Maya blinked, a little confused. "I understand," she said gently. "I'm happy to make an appointment. I'd just like to take a quick look at—" The woman's voice turned colder. "We've had incidents before," she said, lowering her tone. "People walking in, touching items they can't afford. I'm sure you understand we need to protect the merchandise." Behind her, 2 other employees looked on silently, one pretending to arrange handbags, the other smirking faintly. A few customers inside glanced up, their curiosity mixed with quiet discomfort. Maya's chest tightened. She could feel the familiar sting, not of surprise, but of recognition. She'd seen that look before, the look that said, "You don't belong here." She could have told the woman that she was the founder and CEO of Brookline Technologies, a company valued in the millions. She could have shown her the gold card in her wallet, the one reserved for elite clients who were always welcomed with champagne. But she didn't. Instead, she smiled faintly. "Thank you," she said softly, stepping back. "Have a good day." As Maya walked away, she could hear the faint laughter of the employees behind her. The door of the boutique slid shut with a hiss, like the closing of an opportunity she was never meant to have. Across the street, she sat on a bench staring at her reflection in a nearby cafe window. Her phone buzzed, a text from her assistant. "Tina, meeting with the investor went great. They've approved full funding for the expansion." "Congratulations, boss." Maya smiled. Boss. That word hit differently now. She looked back at the boutique across the street, her eyes calm but thoughtful. She didn't feel anger, just clarity. The same kind of quiet determination she'd seen in her mother's eyes every time someone underestimated her. That night, in her minimalist penthouse apartment overlooking the skyline, Maya poured herself a cup of tea and opened her laptop. On the screen was an email from her real estate advisor. "The Maison d'Or building's leaseholder might be open to selling. Would you like me to set up a meeting?" Maya's lips curved into a small, knowing smile. She typed back a simple reply. "Yes, first thing tomorrow." Before going to bed, she took one last look out the window. The city lights blinked like stars, and in their glow, she whispered to herself, "They closed a door today, Mom, but tomorrow, I'll own the whole building." The humiliation she felt that afternoon didn't burn anymore. It had turned into fuel, the kind that drives quiet storms and graceful victories. Maya wasn't going to fight the system with anger. She was going to rewrite the rules with success. As the night deepened and the city grew still, Maya's reflection in the glass looked different, stronger, sharper, unstoppable. The same woman they had dismissed at the door would soon be the one deciding who walked through it. And this time, the doors wouldn't just open for her, they would open because of her. The morning sun glowed against the silver skyline, painting Los Angeles in hues of gold and confidence, the same kind that shimmered in Maya Brooks' eyes as she stepped out of her black Mercedes-Benz. Today, the world would remember her name, not for revenge, but for redefining what grace looked like under pressure. She had slept well the previous night, calm, composed, and unbothered. No ranting online, no emotional posts. Instead, she'd made a few quiet phone calls, the kind that moved mountains without ever raising a voice. Her real estate advisor, 2 lawyers, and an investor friend, all efficient, discreet, and loyal. Now, standing before the same Maison d'Or boutique that had shut its glass doors in her face yesterday, Maya looked every bit the part of a woman who owned her story. Her attire spoke volumes, a tailored charcoal suit, gold watch, and most striking of all, a pair of crimson designer heels that clicked against the marble pavement with authority. Inside, the boutique buzzed with activity. Staff hurried around, preparing for what they believed was an unannounced visit from a mystery buyer. The The manager, the same woman who had humiliated Maya the day before, looked both excited and anxious. She had heard from the property agent that a major investor might be purchasing the space. When Maya entered, silence fell like a curtain. The same air-conditioned breeze that had felt cold yesterday now felt heavy with irony. The manager stepped forward quickly, plastering on a professional smile. "Good morning, ma'am. Welcome to Maison d'Or. How can I assist you today?" Maya tilted her head slightly, her calm gaze meeting the woman's. "Oh, I believe we've met before," she said smoothly. The manager froze, her eyes darting nervously. I don't recall," Maya smiled. "Yesterday. You told me this store was for serious buyers only." The words landed like quiet thunder. A few customers nearby exchanged glances, sensing the tension. The other employees pretended to organize handbags again, just like before. The manager stammered, "Yes, I apologize if I seemed rude. We have strict policies about—" "Relax," Maya interrupted softly, her tone calm but cutting through the air like a blade wrapped in silk. "I didn't come here for an apology." She handed the woman a folder. Inside were legal documents bearing her name, Maya Brooks, CEO of Brookline Technologies. The top page was a property acquisition agreement, stamped and signed. The manager's eyes widened as she flipped through it, her face draining of color. This can't be real." "Oh, it's very real," Maya said. "As of this morning, I own this entire building. That includes your boutique, the floor above, and the cafe next door." The silence deepened. One of the employees dropped a perfume bottle. It shattered softly against the marble floor. Maya continued, her voice steady. "You see, I don't believe in shouting or seeking revenge, but I do believe in making sure no one else gets treated the way I was treated yesterday." She looked around the store, the glossy shelves, the shimmering lights, the brand that prided itself on exclusivity. "Luxury isn't about money or color," she said quietly. "It's about respect." The manager's lips trembled. "Please, Ms. Brooks. I didn't mean—" "I know," Maya interrupted again, her tone neutral. "And I'm not here to humiliate you. I just wanted to see your face when I walked through this door. Not as a customer, but as your landlord." She turned to leave, pausing at the door. "You'll receive an official notice this week about some changes to the building's policy. I'll be transforming part of this space into something that actually matters." Reporters had started to gather outside, tipped off by a rumor that the mystery investor behind Maison d'Or's acquisition was a young black female CEO. Cameras flashed as Maya stepped outside. The cool breeze carried her curls lightly as she smiled at the flashing lenses, not with arrogance, but with grace. A journalist shouted from across the street, "Ms. Brooks, is it true you were denied entry here yesterday?" Maya paused for a moment before replying, "Yes, and I'm glad I was." The reporters leaned in. "Glad why?" "Because sometimes," she said, looking back at the boutique's golden logo, "the doors that close on you are the ones that show you how far you've come. Yesterday they told me I didn't belong. Today I own the key." The crowd erupted in murmurs of admiration and applause. Maya didn't linger. She never did things for spectacle. She got into her car, her assistant closing the door behind her. As they drove away, her assistant grinned. "You really showed them, boss." Maya chuckled softly, watching the boutique fade in the rearview mirror. "No," she said. "I showed them what grace looks like." Her phone buzzed. A message from her mother. "Mom, saw the news. I'm proud of you, baby. But remember, your success means the most when it helps others." Maya smiled. She already knew what she was going to do with that boutique space. This wasn't just about proving a point. It was about changing the story. Tomorrow, she'd announce something that would touch hundreds of lives and teach the world that revenge is temporary, but legacy lasts forever. The morning sun streamed through the vast windows of Maison d'Or, but the golden letters above the door had been replaced. The elegant boutique now bore a new name, written in sleek silver script, the Brooks Foundation. Inside, the space looked completely transformed. Where there had once been shelves of handbags and overpriced shoes, there were now bookshelves, computers, and a stage for workshops. The polished marble floor was the same, but the energy was different, warmer, more human. Young women walked around the newly built study area, some laughing, some in quiet awe, all of them from communities that rarely got to step inside buildings like this. And at the center of it all stood Maya Brooks, dressed simply this time, a soft lavender blouse, minimal jewelry, and a calm smile that spoke louder than any designer label. Cameras flashed, reporters murmured, and her mother sat proudly in the front row. "Thank you all for being here," Maya began, stepping up to the podium. "This building used to represent luxury and exclusivity, but today it stands for opportunity." A quiet wave of applause followed. She continued, her voice steady, confident. "Yesterday I owned this building. Today, I'm giving part of it away to young women of color who deserve the same access, dignity, and chances as anyone else. The Brooks Foundation will offer mentorship, scholarships, and training programs to help them build their futures." As she spoke, her mother wiped a tear discreetly, proud, yet overwhelmed. Maya took a slow breath and glanced toward the back of the room. where the former store manager, Mrs. Waverly, stood quietly. She hadn't been invited by name, but she came anyway. Dressed humbly now, her once perfect hair tied in a bun, she clutched a small envelope nervously. When Maya finished her speech, the crowd stood and applauded. But as people began to mingle, Mrs. Waverly approached her slowly. "Miss Brooks?" she said softly, her voice trembling. Maya turned, her smile patient but unreadable. "Mrs. Waverly, I'm glad you came. I wanted to apologize," the older woman said, her eyes moist. "I judged you. I treated you unfairly. I don't expect forgiveness, but I had to say I'm sorry." Maya looked at her for a long moment, then gently placed a hand on her arm. "You know," she said, "if you had been kind that day, I would have bought a scarf and walked out. That would have been the end of it. But because of what happened, hundreds of girls will walk through this door with their heads high. So maybe," she smiled faintly, "you were part of the plan." Mrs. Waverly's lips trembled. "You're a better person than I deserve." Maya shook her head. "We all learn in our own time." With that, she handed the woman a small card, an invitation to join the Foundation's community program as a career training counselor. Mrs. Waverly stared at it, stunned. "You're offering me a job?" "I'm offering you a second chance," Maya said simply, "because that's what change really means." As the crowd around them began to disperse, the hum of conversation filled the air. Journalists approached for interviews, students shared their dreams, and Maya's team handed out application forms for the Foundation's first scholarship. Outside, the large digital screen above the building showed photos of smiling young women, future leaders, entrepreneurs, and dreamers. Below it, a caption read, "From rejection to revolution. The Brooks Foundation opens its doors." Later that evening, as the event wound down, Maya stood alone on the rooftop terrace. The city stretched out before her, glowing, alive, and endless. Her mother joined her, holding 2 cups of tea. "Beautiful ceremony," her mom said, smiling. "You've turned pain into purpose, baby." Maya chuckled softly. "You always said never let them dim your light," her mother nodded. "And look at you now. You didn't just buy a building. You built a legacy." They sipped their tea in silence for a while, watching the skyline fade into twilight. Down below, the once exclusive store was now full of laughter and conversation, a symbol of what change looks like when driven by grace, not anger. Before leaving, Maya pulled out her phone and opened her social media app. Overnight, the story had gone viral. Millions of views, thousands of comments, but one message caught her eye. User 123, "You showed the world that power doesn't come from money or revenge. It comes from kindness with strength. Thank you for inspiring us." Maya smiled softly. She didn't need validation, but knowing her story had touched others made it complete. As she looked up at the stars, her reflection shimmered faintly in the glass door beside her. She whispered, half to herself, half to the city that once tried to shut her out. "They thought I didn't belong. Now I make sure everyone does." A quiet breeze swept across the terrace, carrying the scent of jasmine from the garden below. Somewhere inside, laughter echoed. Young girls talking about their dreams, unaware that they were already part of history. Maya turned to leave, her crimson heels tapping softly against the marble floor. Each step sounded like a reminder that the strongest statement a person can make is not how loud they rise, but how gracefully they lift others with them. And as the lights of the Brooks Foundation glowed through the night, one truth shone brighter than all the rest. Sometimes, the doors that close on you are the ones you were meant to own and open for everyone else.